But it's not just Democrats who should have learned something last night. There were major lessons for Republicans, too, ones they should pay attention to. Here's one. Voters care about campaign promises. If you don't fulfill your campaign promises, it turns out they notice, they remember, and they don't care for it. In 2016, Republicans in Congress promised to, I don't know, build a wall, get rid of Obamacare, defund Planned Parenthood. They got elected on those promises. They didn't do any of them once they got elected. Maybe that's one reason they lost the House last night. Here's another lesson. Immigration matters, not just on the level of individuals and families and caravans, the things that we debate every night, but on the level of entire populations. Immigration changes who lives in a country and who votes. Ultimately, that's why it matters. You'd never know that from listening to the coverage of immigration stories. You would think the question of who comes into your country and under what circumstances was entirely a moral issue, really a question of personal decency. Good people are for open borders, bad people are against them. It's always the message, including today.
As you know, Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants in
Not
this
at all.
election
No, not
to
at all.
try to keep them?
I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. You know, they have to come in, Jim, through a process.
Ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question. Are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was
enough.
going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President,
me. That's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other
Peter,
question,
let's
if
go.
I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian
indictments
investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN.
You hate to see this become a news story. Acosta is such a buffoon, but he's such a buffoon that the White House apparently felt it had no choice but to respond. The press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, put out this statement, quote, President Trump believes in a free press and expects and welcomes tough questions of him and his administration. We will, however, never tolerate a reporter placing his hands on a young woman just trying to do her job as a White House intern, as apparently that woman was. This conduct is absolutely unacceptable. It is also completely disrespectful to the reporter's colleagues not to allow them an opportunity to ask a question. The statement went on to say, as a result of what happened today, the White House is suspending the hard pass of the reporter involved until further notice. So that's today's Jim Acosta sidebar. But whatever else the exchange you just saw was, what it really was a diversion from the political reality of immigration. Here's the political reality. California was once a solidly Republican state for generations. It is now among the most Democratic. Why? Immigration. Different people live there. Not surprisingly, they vote very differently. Something very similar is happening right now in Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Virginia, North Carolina, and many other states. And that was reflected in last night's vote totals. Check the numbers. Democrats obviously know this. That's why they oppose borders, because it helps them win elections. Republicans, by profound contrast, have been very slow to pick up on this. They're very literal. They still think immigration policy is about virtue.